Okay, what I have today is a list of 14 inner critic attacks divided into key categories, and it's from Pete Walker's book, From Surviving to Thriving, and this will be helpful for anybody out there who has had childhood trauma, who is very self-critical and basically is finding it hard to, get momentum in life to do what they really want to do with their lives. So once we get our inner critic under control, we can begin to become or turn into a butterfly, basically, because the inner critic will stop us doing all of the beautiful things we want to do. It will stop us standing up for ourselves. It will make us apologetic when we don't need to be. And it's very damaging and harmful. So I'm going to run through this video, and what you're going to be able to do is play back. I'm going to do one slide at a time, and then you can basically go back and look at it. And also, if you want a copy of this, then you can message me below and I'll be able to send it to you via email if you want me to do that. My email address is on or below this video that I'm going to upload on YouTube, so it'd be very easy for you to email me so that you can have a copy. And I'll also put the book that it came from so that you're able to go and buy that book from Amazon if you want. So here goes. The first one will be perfectionism, and it basically is explaining that my perfectionism arose as an attempt to gain safety and support in my dangerous family. Perfectionism is a self-persecutory myth, and I do not have to be perfect to be safe or loved in the present. I am letting go of relationships that require perfection. I have a right to make mistakes. Mistakes do not make me a mistake, and every mistake or mishap is an opportunity to practice loving myself in the places that I have never been loved. And I think that's very clear in what I'm saying here and what I've read. So if we go back to this, what we can see is that, we can basically be in a position that we think that we are a mistake because we're not perfect, and this is something that we have to move on from at some point and realize that we are all perfect in our imperfectness. And you look at a flower, you wouldn't say that it's not perfect. We're all beautiful in our own way. Number two, the other thing that can happen is all or none and black and white thinking. And in that is I reject extreme generalization, descriptions, judgments, or criticisms. One negative happenstance does not mean I am stuck in a never-ending pattern of defeat. Statements that describe me as always or never, this is or that, are typically grossly incorrect or inaccurate. So if you think about this, I've had this happen to me before where people say, you always do that, or you always say this. And sometimes we may catch ourselves doing that to other people, and often it is grossly inaccurate. So it's important that we choose our words when we're dealing with each other. If we're not happy with each other, or we're not happy with ourselves, we don't need to berate ourselves by saying that we always do something, or we always say something, or we always mess up. We've lived an entire life where we've not messed up many times. So we have to be realistic in our thinking and get rid of the all or none black and white thinking. And then the next slide is number 3. Not slide 3 so much, but number 3. 3, self-hate, self-disgust, and toxic shame. I commit to myself, I am on my side, I am a good enough person, and I refuse to trash myself. I turn shame back into blame and disgust and externalize it to anyone who shames my normal feelings or foibles. As long as I am not hurting anyone, I refuse to be shamed for normal emotional responses like anger, sadness, and fear and depression. And I especially refuse to attack myself for how hard it is to completely eliminate the self-hate habit. So once we become aware of what we're doing and what complex PTSD is, the more awareness that surrounds us and that we breathe into us, the more we're able to stop berating ourselves and acting out. And for me, it's taken educating myself through YouTube's books and all the things that I love to do. But bit by bit, the information, the more we go over it, the more it and hearing it from other people. You know, it's okay to mess up. It's okay not to be perfect. And, you know, we don't need to hate ourselves. We're actually gifts to other people. And there's so much beauty in us as well. And toxic shame, another one, really got to go. And that toxic shame generally will not have come through us. It would have come through our upbringing and our conditioning, you know, being told to not have feelings and emotions or stand up for ourselves. If we wanted to, we would have been shamed into silence. Number 4 is micromanagement, worrying, obsessing, looping, over futurizing. And it says, I will not repetitively examine details over and over. I will not jump to negative conclusions. I will not endlessly second guess myself. I cannot change the past, and I forgive myself for my mistakes. I cannot make the future perfectly safe. I will stop hunting for what could go wrong, and I will not try to control the uncontrollable. I will not micromanage myself or others, and I work in a way that is good enough, and I accept the essential fact that my efforts sometimes bring desired results, and sometimes they do not. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's the serenity prayer. So this is, again, from Pete Walker's book, Complex PTSD, From Surviving to Thriving. We'll go on to the next slide. And unfair devaluing comparisons to others or to one's most perfect moments. I refuse to compare myself unfavorably to others. I will not compare my insides to their outsides. I will not judge myself for not being at peak performance all of the time. In a society that pressures us into acting happy all of the time, and I will not get down on myself for feeling bad. So something that's important, you know, people think we're supposed to be striving for happiness, but, you know, really, if we strive for balance in our lives and we have compassion for ourselves, we're onto a winner. That is more realistic and something to really think about. Balance and self-compassion all the way, because the more compassion that we have for ourselves, the more that ripples out to humanity and other people. Number 6 is guilt. Feeling guilty does not mean I am guilty. So, you know, we're going to think things sometimes that aren't pleasant, but, you know, we might want to be really angry with somebody about something, but, you know, and think horrible thoughts, but that's okay. We're human. Everybody does this. Many people think things that they do not act upon, and it's part of being human and the way our mind works. But the more we understand ourselves and the more compassion we have, the more compassionate we have for others, realistically, of course. There are some people that we need to remove ourselves away from, and there are other people that is part of our team, if you want to call it, not team as much as people that get us. And when we're with people that get us, life seems to be smoother. It is inevitable instance when, so sometimes we might hurt people, where we all do that, and when we do that we can apologize. It says here, I will apologize and make amends and let go of my guilt. So sometimes we might be rude to somebody because we're tired or we're having a flashback or something like that, and we can tell them, I was having a flashback and I apologize, and we can explain to people what's going on with us, and they can also explain what's going on with them. We're no longer victims, and we will not accept unfair blame. Guilt is sometimes camouflaged as fear. I'm afraid, but I am not guilty, and I'm not in danger. That's a good one to remember, because we're not those small children anymore where we maybe were made to feel guilty and in fear, and we're not there anymore. Thank God for that, hey? That's a big one. But this is where, in understanding complex PTSD, we can begin to heal ourselves at deep levels, because flashbacks generally are based on thinking that we go back there and thinking that we are there. That's what a flashback is. So number 7, shoulding. I will substitute the words, that word, want to, for should. So use the word I want to. When we should, and only follow this imperative if it feels like I want to, unless I am under legal, ethical, or moral obligation. So, you know, I should drive at 30 miles an hour, for instance. If we're in an area that's built up and it says 30 miles an hour, then you know, maybe we should do that because maybe there's very good reasons for it. But when it comes to our own lives, we should ourselves thinking that we should be somewhere or do something or be a particular way when that's not actually what we want. So we have to analyze ourselves and understand, what do I want? You know, what do I want for myself? Number 8 is overproductivity, workaholism, and busyholism. I am human, being not a human doing. I will not choose to be perpetually productive. I am more productive in the long run when I balance, operative word, work with play and relaxation, and I will not try to perform at 100% all of the time. I subscribe to the normalcy of facilitating along a continuum of efficiency. So we need rest, we need work, and we need play. And we can look at our lives to see, is it balanced or not? Number 9, we have harsh judgments of self and others, name calling. I will not let the bullies and critics of my early life win by joining and agreeing with them. This is very important, hey? I will refuse to attack myself or abuse others, and I will not displace the criticism and blame that rightfully belongs to them onto myself or current people in my life. I care for myself. The more solidarity, the more friendliness, the more unsustained I am, the more I will respect myself. And that was Jane Eyre, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm sure it is. So we'll go on to the next one. What? Endangerment attacks. So drasticizing, catastrophizing, and hypochondrizing. I feel afraid, but I am not in danger. I am not in trouble. Let's move that. I am not in trouble. Okay. And I'm not in trouble with my parents. I will not blow things out of proportion. I refuse to scare myself with thoughts and pictures of my life deteriorating, and no more homemade horror movies and disaster flicks. So we can go out into the future and make some really nasty sort of images in our heads of things that, I don't know if you can see that, close, right. And so we've got, I've got lost there with that pop-ups. I'll have to get rid of my pop-ups because they're annoying me. Anyway, so no more homemade horror movies and disaster flicks. 11 is negative focus. I renounced over noticing and dwelling on what might be wrong with me or my life around me. I will not minimize or discount my attributes. Right now, I notice, visual and enumerate my accomplishments, talents, and qualities, as well as the many gifts life offers me: friends, nature, music, film, food, beauty, color, and pets. Number 12 is time urgency. I am no longer in danger and I do not need to rush. I will not hurry unless it is a true emergency, and I am learning to enjoy doing my daily activities at a relaxed pace. So that really is slowing down. You know, we need to slow down and breathe. Most of us are running around without taking in the breath and breathing. And what we can do there is, for instance, you can count in to 5 and then out to 5. The other thing you can do, if you tap on your collarbone, which is EFT, then you will bring the parasympathetic system into your being under control, and it will help you breathe. You won't maybe notice it, but it works. So remember that when you go into a flashback or you're berating yourself, just tap and get to a place of peace. Number 13, we've got disabling performance anxiety. So we can reduce procrastination by reminding myself that I will not accept unfair criticism or perfectionist expectations from anyone, even when I'm afraid. I will defend myself from unfair criticism, and I won't let fear make my decisions. So for instance, you know, when I started making videos, I felt, you know, very performance anxiety of what will people think and stuff like that. And you know, today I've, you know, been a little bit all over the place, but that's fine too. You know, we're human, and we're allowed to be human and to, you know, basically be who we are fully. We don't have to be anything other than we truly are. We can be transparent, where none of us are absolutely perfect, and that's perfect in itself. So number 14, there you go, that helped, bless me. Number 14, perseverating about being attacked. Unless there are clear signs of danger, I will thought stop my projection of past bully critics onto others. So, you know, it's important that we realise, and it says here, that the vast majority of our fellow human beings are peaceful people, and when people are, you know, are not, we're safe now. To such a huge degree we are safe, and clearly if we're not, then we deal with that as well. And I'll finish off reading this bit. It says, the vast majority of my fellow human beings are peaceful people, and I have legal authorities to aid in my protection if threatened by the few who aren't. I invoke thoughts and images of my friends' love and support. And then what you can see here at the bottom, you can see Pete Walker, MA, this is from his book, Complex PTSD from Surviving to Thriving. And there's a link there, which I'll put below, which you can tap on. You can actually, from this webpage, if I put the link below, that will help you, and the name of the book. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and that's where you'll see it. And if you want to join me on Facebook, then you can see the link below also. Thanks for watching, and I hope you find this helpful. Any questions, queries, or you want any help, then I do sessions as well, helping people deal with complex PTSD and amongst other things. Thanks for watching.